Federal constituency. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, note with utter dismay and deep concern the gruesome killing of 7 Nigerian citizens from my own local government, Kanam local government area of Plateau State in Hausa, Anambra State. These innocent citizens were brutally murdered by some armed militia while repairing their motorcycles at the mechanic garage in Hausa. This incident, Mr. Speaker, happened on the 24th of October 2024. Further note, Mr. Speaker, that the victims were residents in Hausa carrying out their legitimate peaceful services as motorcycle riders at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University gate. Worried, Mr. Speaker, that the victims were neither terrorists, bandits, nor criminals, but peace-loving citizens of Nigeria who were free to reside and do business in any part of the country. The victims are Joseph Ishaku, 31 years old, Jamilu Haruna, 20 years old, Abdul Wahab Aliyu, 28 years old, Abdul Razak Mohammed, 18 years old, Nuruddin Yusuf, 23 years old, and Awal. They were all shot to death, while others sustained severe degree of injuries. So the victims were from Gomlar and Gumshar villages of Kanam local government area in Plateau State. Also worried, Mr. Speaker, that this barbaric act in the southeastern part of the country is threatening our existence and free movement and right to live and liberty to live anywhere in the part of Nigeria as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This act is condemnable and unacceptable. Concern, Mr. Speaker, that if prompt security measures is not put in place to safeguard the lives of Nigerians living in other region or any other part of the country, this may lead to reprisal attack and it will not be good for the nation. Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to 1. Observe a minute silence in honor of the departed citizens of my local government. Condemn the killing of innocent Nigerians, not only in this part of the country, but in the entire Nigeria. 2. Urge the federal government, Mr. Speaker, to immediately commence thorough investigation into this crime and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice and take concrete measures to prevent such senseless killing and protect the lives and properties of citizens across Nigeria. 4, Mr. Speaker, urge the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Department of State Service to take urgent decisive action to address this situation and ensure that culprits are brought to face the full weight of the law. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Okanafun, Orowanam Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague, Honorable Yusuf. I so second. Thank you.
I had amendments. Any amendment? Yes, please.
Vote for this country, for any citizen of this country to be killed any part of this country. And we should mandate the Inspector General of Police and the SSS to put up urgent investigation and bring the perpetrator to book. Because such things will linger, some other things will have an investigation to find out the perpetrator that did the killing.
Representing the people of Niger Federal Constituency, I rise to draw the attention of Mr. Speaker and the House that the last speaker is not properly dressed to even stand up and address the House. So I think it's good we take note of this very important point. Thank you. He's not properly dressed. He's
dressed in native, that is traditional wear, or you dress in English, corporate wear, and fully. Honorable Logger, am I properly dressed?
It's not a must that you have to put up a tie.
Honorable Logger, I think the problem the members, your colleagues have is that if you want to go English.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order?
Well, you Chinedu Oga and Anambra Oga. So you complete his name by calling him Chinedu Oga. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go corporate, you dress corporately, and that includes your tie. If you are putting on suits. So, Honorable Logger, to speak again, you have to go and borrow a tie. Carried? 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 All right, so let's go back to the motion. We are doing amendment. One amendment has been made. Any other amendment to that motion? There's no amendment. I think it's a straightforward motion.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment? Yes. Make it brief.
Thank you, Mr. Let me commend the mover of this motion. The issue of jungle justice is becoming a national threat. Mr. Speaker, I would like to amend that this should not be limited to.
The motion is specific to an incident that just happened. The prayer is specific. I wouldn't want it to be watered down, so that it will not. Thank you,
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let me just put the question. Silence, please. Honorable Gadi, it's a straightforward motion. You want to say something for 1 minute? Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yusuf Gagdi is my name. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam.
Let us hear Honorable Gadi in silence, please.
Let us represent Panshinkanke Kanam.
Honorable Oga.
To state.
Honorable Ibe, please have your seat.
Give me this 1 minute to add value to this motion. I hope the message in the motion, which was carefully crafted, without any accusation to specific individual, is being sent. But to overemphasize security matters, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to do more than what we are doing to ensure the safety of the Nigerian people. This is not my nature on the floor of the House, as this motion was drafted to come and speak for my constituents here, to show that it's not limited to Southeast. Just yesterday, as a polygamous family, Mr. Speaker, my mother-in-law was shot to death in Plateau State. It goes to say that we must take security situation very serious, irrespective of the region that those things are happening. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria all over, there is one form of injustice regarding to killings of human life or another, and the primary strength of our constitution, like the first person that moved a matter of urgent public importance cited, is for us to ensure the safety of lives and properties of our own citizens. Mr. Speaker, I wish we take this resolution very serious and ensure there is peace all over Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you, Mr. Speaker.
To lend my voice to commend the mover of the motion, speaking against these incessant killings in every part of the country. But just by way of information, it's unfortunate that the killing at the Anambra University happened to people from Plateau State. But the information, Mr. Speaker, at our disposal was that it was a cultist fight and I was going to make an amendment to the prayers that the police need to do everything to ensure that we quell the activities of cultists in this country, because they are almost everywhere. They are in the southwest too. So the police need to go hard on them and ensure that they bring them to justice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Making effort, we appreciate them, but more need to be done. It's affecting everyone, including the security agencies. Let's hear Honorable Eshet. You want to say something? That is the final one on this before we vote.
Dogu one. Mark Eshet is my name, speaking for the good people of Uyo, Uran, Sadatai, and Ibe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State, the only state in the Nigerian airspace you can find. Mr. Speaker, the issue of insecurity in this country and the discussion in these hollow chambers is becoming very, very monotonous. We come here, we discuss insecurity. There is no day we sit and in our other paper you don't see motions, urgent importance on security issues. We stand every day, now not even up to a minute of silence again. 20 seconds, minutes of silence because of the rate of insecurity and killings. But yet, every year, the largest chunk of the appropriation that is passed by this House goes to security in terms of resources. And the result of it is not commensurate. Mr. Speaker, there was an information over the social media that the sponsors of kidnappers and Boko Haram has been identified. And up till now, no name has been mentioned. No one has been prosecuted. At this spirit, Mr. Speaker, I think we've done a lot of talking. We should go into action. There is need for us to call our security agents to brief us on what is happening. Is it that they are not aware of what to do any longer? Because on our part as legislators, we have done what we are expected to do. There is no request that comes to these hollow chambers in terms of security that we don't give it urgent attention. But yet, our constituents are being slaughtered, are being murdered, and butchered on a daily basis. Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious issue that this House should resolve, not just to mandate the security agency to investigate. We've done all these resolutions on investigation, yet it is not ending this crisis. Let us call them to account.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you see, we are in at the moment, and it has become obvious that when insecurity takes place, people categorize them under unknown gunmen or Boko Haram or the rest of them. Some of them are criminals. And when they commit crime, they hide under all these umbrellas. It ought not to be so. This one that Gadi just mentioned now, I just did a little research and I found out that it was not unknown gunmen. It was cultist group fighting each other. And unfortunately, some people from Plateau happen to be involved. It's cultist activity in the university, in Anambra University. You know, to brand it into, and it is reported. If you Google it on Punch newspaper, you will see it. So it is on, the police has come to say that the incident that happened was cultist group fighting each other. So why we blame it on police, we blame it on army and all the rest of them, we should also speak to our children. In school, if you go to Punch newspaper 25th of October, you will see it well explained there. When we send children to school, it's for them to learn, not for them to learn how to harm each other. And then you blame it on government for insecurity. So the security agencies have a role to play indeed, but as parents, we also have a role to play in this fight for securing this country. It's not just what government will do alone. Let it start from home. Let it start from the classroom. So that is what I want to say there. But we have done. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Police as well as Committee on National Security Intelligence.
Umar Deti, member representing the good people of Kura, Madobi, and Galmaran Fire constituency. I am from Kano State, Mr. Speaker. I rise this morning to move a motion of urgent public importance on the need to call on the federal government to intervene and serve sanctions against power generating companies and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission over recurring power collapse in northern Nigeria that has led to loss of lives. May I seek the leave of the House to suspend Order 8 Rule 5 to allow me to take this motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. The power collapse in northern Nigeria. The House notes that for the past week, northern Nigeria has been plunged into darkness.
Honorable Oga, sit down with your friend. My palace, sit down. We have visitors from Ghana. The house a bit rowdy. Kwakwansia, sit down. Abajide, allow them to sit down, please. We can discuss in low tones.
With no electricity supply, an unprecedented outage that has disrupted the daily lives of millions and placed unbearable pressure on the region's economy and critical services. As a result, many economic sectors of the region, including healthcare services, were greatly impacted negatively. Therefore, it is clear that both power generating companies and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission have failed to meet their responsibilities, and this neglect can no longer be taken lightly. Concerned that the week-long power outage has crippled production, halted businesses, and disrupted essential services, causing massive economic losses across northern Nigeria. This instability threatens livelihood, security, raises operational costs, deters investment in the region and potential job losses, which invariably impact local economics and social well-being. Aware that the inability to restore electricity after a full week of blackout reflects gross inefficiency and incompetency to their responsibilities. Despite the critical reliance of industries, healthcare, and small businesses on steady power supply, the power generating...
What is the point of order, Honorable Masu? Because last time you said you were not recognized.
I remain Mansour Manu Soro, member representing the Razo-Ganjua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I came under Order 9, Rule 6. With the permission of the Speaker, may I read? It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific caution upon which the House has come to a conclusion.
I can't hear you. Speak into the mic, please.
It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific caution upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon a substantive motion Procedural. Mr. Speaker, a week ago, I had the opportunity to present a motion before this House on the same subject matter. So I want to move that since the entire northern Nigeria is still experiencing the same challenge of being in the darkness, with the motion coming off this afternoon, I want to move that we rescind the motion we have taken last week for the prayers that my brother is coming with, for them to be married, and should there be any further amendment to what he is presenting before the House, I want to move that we should just go straight to his prayers and the other motion should be reversed.
Are you saying that the subject matter, they are the same? The best thing is to ask this motion not
to holistically investigate the problem and report back to the House. But it appears the Ministry of Power as well as the TCN are still been unable to resolve the situation. And we can only imagine the kind of suffering that people are going through in the part of the northern region with regards to the lack of power.
Have you seen the prayer of this motion?
I don't know his prayers.
The prayer of this motion is exactly same with yours. There is no fundamental difference.
As the House decides, Mr. Speaker.
So because the prayer is still speaking to the Committee on Power, the same way your own pray the Committee of Power. There is no significant difference between your prayer and the prayer of this motion. I think the best approach is that since the subject matter has been prayed and the similar prayer and the same similar subject matter is presented, the first in time should prevail. In law, we say where there are two equities, the first in time should prevail. This one that is first in time should stand. This one that is coming now should be stepped down.
I don't know whether there are going to be any amendment coming from the Mensa. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
It will help solving the current problems.
Okay, go to your prayer. Since the subject matter, the House has heard it before, let's listen to your prayer and see the fundamental difference.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Resolves to urge the federal government to intervene immediately and address the electricity crisis in northern Nigeria. Secondly, demand sanctions against power generating companies and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission for their failure to provide reliable electricity. Thank you. The last prayer is the same as his, so I don't need to mention that. Thank you.
From what we have, from the votes and proceedings, and what you have prayed, they are the same. Let me also mention that Mr. President, in his wisdom, has handled this issue. Open up this one. Mr. President, in his wisdom, has attended to this issue. If you go to the publication made by Premium Times, October 28, which was just yesterday, he says, our proactive president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before waiting for this year's second motion, maybe relied on the motion moved by Manusoro, said, and I quote, Tinubu speaks on blackout in northern Nigeria. President Tinubu is saddened by the report of vandalism and willful destruction of power infrastructure, and he has asked that the Ministry of Power step in immediately to resolve this issue. So while we are still trying to transmit, I don't know whether that resolution has been transmitted to the committee, President has already acted. Thank you very much. So can you step down this your motion, please, based on all this information?
To move this urgent matter of importance concerning the boat accident involving over 300 people in Bajibo, village in my constituency in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. The House notes that no fewer than 80 bodies have been recovered, 74 dead, 6 alive with 200 still missing in the boat accident that occurred on Tuesday on the river Niger of the Jebba Dam at Bajibo community in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. The House further notes that the boat was conveying about 300 passengers for a Malut celebration from New Bajibo in Kwara to Old Bajibo in Niger State, consisting of youths from Kwara when it had capsized about 8:30 p.m. Further concerned that this will be a second of such major disaster in Niger State, 18 months after more than 100 people were killed in another boat accident. Aware that through the joint efforts of Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Niger State Ministry of Transport, the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Mokwa Local Government Emergency Committee, our brave local divers and committee volunteers, a total of 16 bodies were recovered last Wednesday. Mr. Speaker, because of your plea, I'll just go to the prayers. The House resolves to: 1. The House observe a minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in the boat accident. 2. Urge the National Inland Waterways Authority to set standards for boat construction, licensing boat builders, and conducting annual inspections or quarterly inspections to ensure seaworthiness. Further urge the National Inland Waterways to set up enforcement and establish training centers across the country to educate boat operators. Urge the Nigerian Navy, being charged with its policing the Nigerian waters as a coastal guard, to set up a command in the River Niger flank of our River Niger and Benue in Niger State, to urge Hyperdeck and NIWA to ensure procurement of life jacket floaters for all water passengers and enforcement conditions on all waterways and their operators. And to urge the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, to give humanitarian aid and relief materials to the bereaved families in both Niger and Kwara states. Mandate committees on inland waterways and legislative compliance to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.